Hello and good evening and welcome to the shed. Hashtag Irish Bills Mafia with me, Trevor. It is Wednesday evening here, but we're doing the Thursday evening show, and I'm delighted to be joined by a good friend of mine, Shelley. Shelley, you're very welcome to the show. You're
Hello,
back
thank
again.
you.
You're back again for another dose.
Yeah, been too long.
Oh, it has been too long. Yes, it's great to have you back, and I'm so very thankful for you for coming on. Shelley is a huge Chiefs fan. She was on the show last year when we were doing the Bills Chiefs preview for a game, and it's great to have her back. And she's doing great in the competition we're having so far. You're in joint third place. You're flying it. You're only 4 points off top.
I can't believe it. I'm so happy.
Oh, it's brilliant. So it is. So Shelley, tonight what we're going to do is we're going to have a chat about the Week 11 fixtures, and then there'll be a few questions thrown in between. So on Thursday night, the first game is the Commanders at the Eagles. So how do you think this game will go? It's a mouth-watering fixture.
I mean, I've given it to the Eagles. They're my pick for this game. I'm not particularly impressed by them this season, but I still think that they'll have that one over the Commanders.
Yeah, I have gone the same as you. I've gone for the Eagles. I think last week the Commanders got kind of caught with the strength of the Steelers' defense, and I know the Eagles have a very good defense. Now, look at Terry McLaurin and Jalen Daniels are finding each other. When Jaden throws it, he catches it. But on the other side, you have AJ Brown, and then you have the machine, Saquon Barkley. So, with Jalen Hurts, he has a lot of weapons to get through as well. But yeah, I've gone for the Eagles as well. I just think Nick Sirianni has missed a bullet the day against Cleveland. He ducked it and he missed it. And I think that they've gone from strength to strength since. So now, next game up is a game that is important in your house, is the Packers at the Bears.
Yes. This is going to be an interesting one after the bye week for the Packers. I think they needed that bye week. Their last performance was not good, but they are missing a few key pieces. J.R. Alexander has been out, so their defense, I think that has that's clearly made an impact. I will always give it to the Packers over the Bears. So yeah, I think the Packers will come out strong. I hope so. Their season has been good. I can see them, in playoff contention, but they need to just put that last week behind them and come back fresh on the bye week.
Yeah, I agree with you. I've gone for the Packers too. A mate of mine that works with me, he was at the Patriots Bears game last week, and I'm afraid he got a shocker. Caleb Williams doesn't look like it at the races at all, unfortunately. And I've seen, I don't know, I presume it's true that Shane Waldron, the offensive coach, has been let go. So I'm going to go with the Packers as well. I think they're a bit too strong.
But maybe a shake-up in Chicago will be good for them.
Oh, hopefully. They have a lot of talent there. Yeah. I thought at the start of the year that if Caleb Williams could play the way he did in college, that they'd be pushing for the NFC, top spot, and maybe at least getting into a wild card. But the last few games they've been awful.
Yeah.
Our next game then is the Jaguars against the Lions. Now, I will say this: last weekend the Jaguars helmet and outfit was class.
Yes.
Not their football, but their outfit.
I think the Jags are too hit and miss. We've seen them get some wins, we've seen them put some points up, but then we've also seen them just, what are they doing? So I can't. And the Lions, to come back from it to win the game, and with 5 interceptions as well from Jared Goff, and still to win, I think they're too strong to ignore this season. And I think, I'll give that game to them.
Yeah, again, we agree. So I'm going for the Lions. Last week they be honest, as an offense stunk down in Houston. But I know the difference between them stinking in Houston and doing the job and us stinking in Houston and not doing our job came down to the last few minutes. And you have to give credit to Dan Campbell. He has a team that even when Jared Goff is playing very bad, the rest of them stand up. And they are missing Aiden Hutchinson, and they still don't look like they're missing Aiden Hutchinson. So again, I'm going to go for the Lions as well. We're on 3 from 3 so far. Before I go to my next game, I want to ask you, how do you think the Chiefs' season is going so far?
So talking about this is, I always feel like I've got to touch wood. Obviously, 9-0. I can, hopefully 10-0. But yeah, I mean, we've not been playing great football. We haven't looked as strong as even last season. And it has been very stressful as a Chiefs fan watching the Chiefs. As I said with the Packers, we are missing a few key pieces. We're really missing Pacheco. It's been difficult, I think, on the offense in particular. But we're still finding a way to win. And I think if you can find a win when you're not playing your best football, that is a team that's the team of champions. Even Travis Kelce this season, his numbers haven't been up there like they have been previously. He's been quite quiet. But it's certainly they're not going to let themselves get beat, which has been quite inspirational to watch, really.
Yeah, that's the scary thing, is that compared to previous years, you're 9-0 and you haven't hit top form. No. You've had patches, but the thing is, when you've had to do it, you've done it. Like last weekend. Now, if I was in the Broncos defensive coaching system, I'd be asking a lot of questions on what happened one side of the wall. But it was something else that amount of Chiefs players got through to make sure they got the block.
Yeah,
and it showed the hunger. The hunger is still there for them. From an outsider looking in. Yes, the offensive side now, DeAndre Hopkins has been a huge addition to
huge, yeah.
Takes an awful lot of pressure off Worthy, and now with Rice injured, he gives Mahomes options. But Mahomes is still ticking along. Kelce has improved in my eyes the last few weeks. He's still not hitting the heights of what he did previous years, but you're 9-0. You're going to win your division no matter what happens now. You know what I mean? And
I think I've got to say as well, shout out to the Broncos and to the Broncos fans. That was so close, and actually it could have gone either way, really. And the Broncos got to Mahomes 4 times, and that's not nothing. That's incredible. So actually, I think it was a really good game, very well played, and a lot of respect to the Broncos on that night.
Oh, 100%. In fairness, on paper, it should have been a blowout to the Chiefs. Yeah. But the Broncos came into Arrowhead and made a very good game of it and could have won it if things had gone differently. But that's, as you said, that's the sign of a good team. A team wins when the chips are down. A good team will always find a way to win. So far, the Chiefs have done that. Right now, in the NFL, who are the closest team to challenge the Chiefs to stop them from this three-peat? In your eyes,
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. There are a number of options. I will be honest. I am worried about our game. I am worried about the Bills. I think if anybody is going to, obviously it's got to stop somewhere, right? We're not going to go all the way with just wins. And I feel like, I think it will be a stressful watch. And I am a little bit worried about that. I feel like the Vikings have put up a good show. I feel like they're very strong. So I feel if we were to meet them, in the Super Bowl, let's say, I think that would be a phenomenal matchup. I think we will. I think this three-peat will happen, though. If I'm honest,
Yeah.
We're definitely Super Bowl contenders. And I think if we get that far, I think we'll bring it home again.
Yeah, like it's a very unpredictable season so far. Like I know from me as a Bills fan, other years I would have looked ahead and said, right, we want to get to the AFC Championship game, or we want to go to the Super Bowl and win the Super Bowl. But for me this year, I'm not looking past, we say, this weekend's game against the Chiefs. So I don't look at what's going to happen in week 18 or the first week round of the playoffs, or how we go, just because we're a new team. Whereas other years we had a stable team and we knew who was playing 90% of the time and what we were going to be like. But then you go to the NFC, the 49ers haven't delivered from where they came last year. Like they were very close and again, on another day could have won it.
Yeah.
But the Chiefs found a way, and once they didn't get their touchdown in overtime, it was Mahomes' all the way after that.
Yeah.
Then you look at the Eagles, they pushed the Chiefs the year before in the Super Bowl all the way, and that was one of the best Super Bowls I ever watched. And didn't come back last year and are now just finding their feet again this year. You have, as you said, the Vikings with Sam Darnold, and you have maybe the Arizona Cardinals. Like that at the start of the year, I wouldn't have given them a chance, but Kyler Murray and Marvin Harrison Jr. and co are playing awesome stuff at the minute. So, but it's on the AFC then the Bengals, like the Bengals I thought would be pushing this year.
Yeah.
And Joe Burrow is, but his defense isn't.
Yeah.
And and it's an awful shame for poor old Joe that he hasn't got a defense, because he's playing probably his best football so far. The amount of touchdowns he's thrown every weekend. But then you have the Ravens and the Steelers. These are two teams then that aren't as fancy as football-wise, but are tough, strong, will grind it out of you and then pick you off if they get a chance.
Yeah,
as we found out. But yeah, it'll be interesting. And of course, I haven't mentioned the Lions. They are flying as well.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But other years, you'd only have 2 or 3 by now. You'd be saying, well, it could be the 49ers or it could be the Eagles, and it'll be the Chiefs versus one of them too. This year, it's very hard to say on either side. The Chiefs are flying on the AFC, but on the NFC, there's 4 or 5 teams at the minute that it could be, and that makes it interesting and enjoyable.
I mean, like you say about it being an unpredictable season, the fact that we're even talking about the Lions up here, a few years ago, they'd be, I suppose, where Carolina are right now, right?
Yeah, they were there for a long time, in fairness to them. So it's nice to see them get up. But then, if you're the team playing against them, you just want to keep on top of them, when it comes to it. But it's nice to see them up there, and hopefully on the NFC side, they go a step further and in the next year or two and get to a Super Bowl and see what happens after that. So we'll jump onto the games again. We'll do another few, and I have a few more questions for you then as we tick along. So the next game up then is the Raiders at the Dolphins. So how do you see that one going?
Dolphins. I can't pick the Raiders.
Yeah, I agree there. The Dolphins surprised me the last night, and the one thing I learned about it is they have all the talent they have. They're nothing without Tua. And
yeah, absolutely. I mean, Tua is he's always a worrying one to watch because you want him to stay healthy, you don't want him to get injured, and he's still going in head first at times, and he's just got to be so careful, because the last thing any of us wants to see, I think, is for his career to end because of a concussion, and he's putting himself at risk. So hopefully they'll get the win, but also stay safe, and make sure that he's protected on the field.
Yeah, 100%. Like there's Monday night, he got a kick in the head, but it didn't seem to cause him any issues. And that's my only fear. Like the one thing I leave out rivalry, I don't see any player get hurt to a point.
Never.
To a point where they may not ever be themselves again after a game of football. And it's for the Dolphins to see him play. he is the reason the Dolphins win games.
Yeah.
It's not Tyreek Hill and it's not Waddle and it's not any of them other boys, because they were there and he wasn't, and they couldn't.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it showed. But for him, I hope he stays fit. That's all. And whatever happens in the games, and after that happens.
I mean, I think I completely agree. The worst thing is seeing a player get injured. I mean, you know, it's still in my mind that what happened to Damar Hamlin, you know, and I remember watching that at the time that it was going on and just being so horrified and really, you know, and I think it brought the NFL community together, didn't it? Everybody was just hoping for him to be okay. And I think nobody wants to see players get injured.
No, like, it's a tough game, it's a rough game, but it at the end of the day, like you go to work, like I go to work, you want to come home the same way as you go, and hopefully Tua can stay that way for the length of his career, along with every other player. But like, Tua is the one that we're concerned about at the minute, because if the night he ran into Damar Hamlin and he went down, just to see the images of his hands not being able to close was frightening. Like,
really frightening. Yeah,
but please God, he'll find a way to stay safe, and then the rest will happen after that. So the next game we're going to talk about is the Rams at the Patriots. What are your thoughts?
I just hope both teams lose. I can't remember who I picked for this one. I think, did I go with the Rams?
I'm not sure. I'm going to tick you down here for the Rams now. So I am.
Yeah, I think I went with the Rams. Yeah, one of those that I'm just like, I don't know. Could go either way.
Yeah. Before Monday night, I'll be honest, I would have picked the Rams with you. But the way the Dolphins defense crucified Matthew Stafford and their offensive line, I'm picking the Patriots in this, because I know the Patriots don't have a lot to throw to, but Drake May has improved.
Yeah.
But they have a good defense. And now I could be wrong, but and it's shocking for me to be picking the Patriots. But I'm going to pick the Patriots in this. I just think that last Monday night, the Dolphins really showed up the weakness in the Rams. And the Patriots are no world beaters, but I think they brought the Rams down to the level that they should have been at beforehand. But anyway, we'll see how it goes. The next game then is the Browns at the Saints.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Saints on that one.
Yeah,
I think the Saints are the stronger team there for me.
Yeah, Derek Carr is back, so he'll make a huge difference now. Chris Olave, I think he's still out, but
and that's making a difference. That's a real shame.
Yeah.
You know,
do you think, was it right, the reporters blaming Derek Carr's pass to Chris Olave? I don't know. Did you see the interview afterwards, where one reporter in an interview asked him, "How do you feel about the pass that caused the injury?"
Yeah,
and it was. I thought it was very poor form. Like, the man didn't go out to throw the ball to get another player hurt.
No, of course not. And I think with Derek Carr, obviously, he takes his football so seriously. He, you know, at the Raiders, it wasn't great, and he's gone and he's improved and he's, you know, led a better team, I think. And that's really, really unfair question to ask.
Yeah, he handled it awful well. So he did. He didn't get upset or angry or anything, and I have to take my hat off to him for that. Like, that was, I'd have came back a different way. But anyway, well done, Derek Carr. Yeah, I'm going to go for the Saints as well. The Browns season, I do listen to the odd podcast, the Orange and Browns podcast. I do listen to it, and they are now looking at it in their eyes that it's to see, will they keep the general manager and the head coach for next year, because they got Deshaun Watson so badly wrong.
Yeah.
And in a way, I'm delighted for them, because they danced with the devil, and the devil, did his job. So good luck to them.
I don't think there would be a problem with them as well taking a step back next season and having a rebuilding season. And it's worked for lots of teams very recently. You know, we've got lots of teams that are very new and kind of playing together for the first time and still gelling. And I think actually sometimes it's worthwhile to take that step back and get things right and then push forward, you know, either later on in the season. And I think we saw it last year with Jordan Love and the Packers. It wasn't until kind of later on in the season when they got that experience that they started to be more explosive. You know, I think the Browns could do that. The Browns could take a step back, have a rebuilding season, and then, you know, make their push late next season or even the season after.
Yeah, like it is possible, but I know that they're going to have an awful lot of dead money next year with the Deshaun Watson deal.
Yeah.
And I think until they get him off their books, who I don't know if anyone else will ever touch him, but until they get him off their books, they're going to be like what you said, have to rebuild for a year or two and keep whatever pieces they can. Like there a few weeks ago, there was trade rumors about Myles Garrett, but he stayed. They'll need him when they're going to rebuild to be there, you know, and build around him whenever that time comes.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'm going to go for the Saints in that one too. And the last game before we'll go into another few different questions is a cracker, I think, will be the Ravens at the Steelers. How do you see this one going?
I'm going to give that to the Ravens. You know, I think they've kind of fallen off more recently. They've been a little bit inconsistent, but I think that they've still got a strong team. I think they are, you know, really pushing forward. I think they'll do well out of this season. So yeah, Ravens for me.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Ravens too. Even though the Steelers have proven me wrong the last 2 weeks, and I just think that Lamar and Derrick Henry, Zay Flowers, Bateman, they just have a little bit too much for what is an absolutely awesome Steelers defense. But then the Ravens have an awesome defense, and the Steelers offense, if they can cover up George Pickens. Now, they have Mike Williams gone, and he did play well last week. But if they cover up George Pickens, I think they'll cover up an awful lot of the balls thrown. And I think John Harbaugh will, you know, just have a little too much, I think, for the Steelers with his team this week. But so we're ticking along nicely through the games. How was your game in London this year? Tell us all about it.
So it was absolutely amazing. I love the London games. We didn't go last year. Obviously, we were in Wisconsin. We went to Green Bay and went to Lambeau Field, and that was amazing. And then we saw the Chiefs in Germany. So I didn't get to see the Bills last year on my birthday in London. But it was amazing this year. We saw the Bears, and actually, you know, the Bears won. They played very well. Caleb Williams was very good. The atmosphere was electric. It always is. Everybody is so friendly, and there's a real buzz about it. We took our friends with us that haven't been before, and not particularly into American football, but kind of came along for the experience. And actually, by the end of it, you know, we're going into the shop and buying merch, and you know, because it was just so brilliant. And I think it's an incredible event. We went to the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, and they just do it so well. The stadium is phenomenal. Honestly, if people haven't been, I know it's not always, you know, your team that's there or whatever, but it is so brilliant. I would highly recommend it.
Yeah, I have to agree with you. I'm an Arsenal fan, and it hurts me to say that the Tottenham Stadium is amazing, but the Tottenham Stadium is amazing. I really leave out last year against the Jaguars. The result didn't go our way that day, but the whole build-up atmosphere, the whole surrounding of it, everyone, as you said, was as friendly as anything. You know, you didn't have to worry about yourself, or, you know, like certain games you go to in different sports, you have to watch out every, you know, what you're saying and who you're saying it to.
Yeah.
Everyone is comfortable and can enjoy themselves and support who they want, and nobody will judge them. And it was brilliant.
And the good thing about Tottenham Stadium as well, we watched the Munich games this weekend, and you can see on the field the football pitch markings, the penalty area, and so on and so forth. But with Tottenham, because it was specifically built for to host the NFL, the pitches, it looks amazing. And I don't think really when you see other international games, the one in Brazil, to open the season for the Packers, it was awful. They were sliding everywhere. Jordan Love got injured. So I think that's a really good thing about the Tottenham Stadium.
Oh, yeah, I agree. And to be honest with you too, even when you're, say, as you said, looking at it from a TV perspective, a game that big, there should be no markings of any other sport on it. It should be just for itself. And vice versa, if you were changing over to soccer, there should be no American football markings on it either. So, yeah, the Tottenham pitch. And the one thing that I do like about that's come from the Tottenham pitch is that the Bills' new stadium is taken from the Tottenham arena.
Oh, wow.
The way the walls are designed, the seats and the whole lot, they have copied an awful lot from it. And I'm not sure if they're going to put in a removable pitch where they can change it from soccer to American football, but I still think they're sticking to the artificial turf there for the foreseeable future. So it'll be similar to what they're playing on so far. But yeah, I have to give kudos to Tottenham. Very, very hard, but we have to do it. What is your opinion on who will be in the AFC Championship games? I know you're going to have the Chiefs as one, and the NFC Championship games come the end of the season.
So I think, if I'm honest, I think it's going to be Chiefs Bills. I think it's always a really interesting matchup. I think it's always a really good matchup. Obviously, I think it's going to go the Chiefs' way, but that will be a really good one. And then NFC, I can see the Packers doing it. I think probably Packers-Lions.
Yeah, that's a good call. It's so wide open. It's very hard to say. You can't rule out a few teams, but there's not a lot of teams so far that you can say that are definitely gone out of it.
It's difficult to call, where other seasons it hasn't been so difficult. I think, yeah, it could go anyway, couldn't it? Really, it's unpredictable.
It could. They do put up the wild card and the teams in the playoff positions at the minute. And there a few weeks ago, the Bills were fourth, and they would be playing. Like the likes of the Ravens or the Steelers. Yeah. And it's just funny how it's gone. The Bills have gone from 4th to 2 now, and then they'll be playing the likes of the Broncos if the season ended. But there's still so many teams that can jump into that, because the Broncos aren't flying. They're not awful bad, but they're not flying. So there's still teams that have, even the Dolphins still have a chance.
I'm worried to put us through as the number 1 seed, just because I see... I don't want to jinx it. I don't want to curse it, but I can see how our season's gone really kind of top heavy with wins, and I can see that now swapping over and other people kind of having wins where we're going to have losses. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh yeah, but you can only take it 1 week at a time.
Yeah.
And even though you've had the wins, like it's the same for any team. You see teams go out and we had 2 losses in a row. One, the game, our tails were handed to us by the Ravens. Yeah. They absolutely demolished us. And the second one, we weren't getting our tails handed to us, but at halftime they made changes. And it's the one game so far that bugs me that got away. Because it should have went to overtime.
Yeah.
If they had ran the ball 3 times, it would have gone to overtime. And then if you lost it, then you say, fair enough, we lost it. Now, if you're on the Texans' 20-yard line or 30-yard line, you'd say, fair enough, go for it. But when you're on your own 3-yard line, you say, no, we're not taking any chances.
Yeah.
But then things can happen. And like the Chiefs, they can only play who's in front of them, and they can only beat who's in front of them. And so far, they've beaten everybody.
Yeah.
And there's been weeks that they have fully deserved it. And there's been weeks where you can say, wow, that was lucky. But at the end of the day, they found a way to win, and you have to give kudos and credit to them.
And I mean, actually, we've got, Pacheco is apparently rumoured to be coming back very soon, to be brought back off IR. So hopefully that will make a difference. We miss his angry runs. So, yeah, I mean, so much depends on those that are out injured, those that are, and Mahomes' ankles not looking so good, heavily strapped in, and they were clearly bothering at points in the game last week. So I don't want to, get my hopes up too much. But
but you're right to keep your feet on the ground and look at it a game at a time, because anything can happen. Like, hopefully no one seriously will get injured. No one, like Pacheco's coming back. He will be a huge addition.
Massive.
I don't know if he's going to play this weekend. There's rumours he may do, but I don't know. But he'll be a great addition to what you have. Like, you got Kareem Hunt. He's come back in and he's played awful well.
Really good.
So, like, it's all just about taking each step and enjoying it, and enjoy the wins, and hopefully not to see too many losses.
Yeah.
So we'll move on again to the picks. We're nearly there now. So we're at the Vikings versus Titans. Do you see any shock there?
Vikings.
Vikings,
yeah.
Yeah. I'm going with you on that.
I know some people were saying, Sam Darnold is washed or over, or however they put it on X. I don't think so. I think a bad game doesn't necessarily ruin a season. And they've still got JJ. Justin Jefferson is a force to be reckoned with.
He is, and you're 100% right. And credit has to be given to Sam Darnold, where he came from, what he went through, and the season he's having. Like, when JJ McCarthy got injured, I will be the first to put my hand and say that was their season over.
Mm-hmm.
But Sam Darnold has come out, and he's deservedly has the Vikings where they are. And every quarterback will have a bad game or two. There's nobody. Josh Allen had the best game last weekend. We were lucky to get the win, but he didn't have it. Mahomes will have his bad game every so often. They still charge on and move on. Every single one of them will have it. So fair play to Sam Darnold. And I just think, like yourself, Titans, they're getting ready for next year. And will Levis again. Now, the next game is the Colts at the Jets.
The Jets season. Yeah, I'm going with the Colts. Wow. What is going on over there in New York? I mean, they thought that all their problems were going to be over. They thought that they were going to have Aaron Rodgers, and he was going to come and they were going to make it to the Super Bowl. And then Aaron Rodgers didn't like his receivers, so now he has to have Devontae Adams there with him. And it's falling apart. And really, I think for people with such big egos, as an outsider, it's kind of funny to see what's happening, really. I know that sounds awful, and I'm sorry, Jets fans, but just their egos got the better of them. They're bigger than the team, and it's making the team suffer.
I just love you saying that, because I've been saying that all the time. And if Aaron Rodgers wanted to win a Super Bowl, he was at the Green Bay Packers all his life. He could have been a Brett Favre again. He could have, led the team to another Super Bowl. And if he was easy to handle, the Green Bay Packers would have never traded him to the New York Jets, and they couldn't wait to get rid of him.
And Devontae Adams was saying that one of the reasons that he wanted to leave the Raiders was because he wants to win a Super Bowl. And then he's gone to the Jets. And I mean, I'm sorry, but if you are thinking that I want to win a Super Bowl in the next couple of years, you're not looking at the Jets. You're looking at the Chiefs. Like, this season, he's obviously moved mid-season. That's where he would want to go, surely. To go to the Jets, it's clearly not about the Super Bowl. It's not about winning playoffs. It's about being with Aaron Rodgers, I guess. But I don't know.
Yes, I agree. There was a lot of other teams he could have gone to if he wanted a challenge. And the Chiefs were looking for a wide receiver. And you would be going from no chance to a very good chance if he went there. And he would have he is a good wide receiver. the Devontae Adams of 5 years ago, but he still would cause teams trouble. And being with Patrick Mahomes, he would have caused teams bigger trouble than he will
can
with
you
Aaron Rodgers.
imagine Devontae Adams and Patrick Mahomes? The hook up there would have been massive, but Yeah,
but Aaron Rodgers must have some spell on some people because he can convince them.
Yeah.
Like he's done it. I have no pity for them, I will be honest.
Yeah.
And it's not that I dislike the Jets because they're a divisional rival, but they went and they put their trust in a man that had to go away to on his own to a resort that he couldn't talk to anyone for so long.
Retreat.
Yes. Oh my God. And then got him all the wide receivers he wanted. Got him every player he wanted. Got him the offensive coach he wanted. Then that didn't work. Then got him Devontae Adams. That's not working.
And he will blame everyone as well. It's everyone else's fault. And I think, at what point are you going to look at yourself? And don't get me wrong. I don't want to say that he's not been phenomenal. He clearly has. He's been very successful in his career and MVP and Hall of Fame or whatever. Completely get it, but he's not that anymore.
No, he's not that. No. And I agree with you. And I think he thinks he can be Tom Brady. And I think he thinks when he went to the Jets, he could not win as many rings as Tom Brady, but win one or two to say, well, I changed this organization and I can go into the same conversation as Tom Brady. Yeah. And no disrespect to him, because he has a Super Bowl and he has MVPs and the whole lot, but he wouldn't lace Tom Brady's shoes. And especially now, Tom Brady did it all the way to the end of his career and left in a respectful way. Whether he's a Patriot or a Buccaneer or whatever, you have to give the man credit where credit is due. And there's no stories coming out of the Buccaneers or the Patriots about Tom Brady being a drama queen, because he always put the team in front of him, including his wages, where Aaron Rodgers doesn't.
I'm enjoying his him commentating on the games, actually. And I think because he's so knowledgeable and he's so fresh from retirement, that actually his insights and the way that he talks about the game, I'm actually really enjoying it. I didn't think I would, but I'm enjoying his commentary.
Oh yeah, look, he knows football and he's talking about things the correct way, and unless he becomes quarterback of the Raiders next year, maybe. He'll be there for a while. Sadly, you're going to laugh at me now, but I've picked the Jets for this game.
Okay.
And it's not because I think they're world beaters, but I think the Colts were crap last week.
Well, yeah, but okay. Well, that's a bold choice.
And as much as I dislike Aaron Rodgers, I just think that they will get an odd win here or there between now and the end of the season. And if like we had no number one wide receivers playing last week, and it limited what Josh Allen could do and could not do, and we still beat them. Like we've played better and have had tougher games than against the Colts. But, I hope I'm wrong in this one. That's all. That's all I'm going to say.
Well, it'll be interesting to see. The
next one then is the Falcons at the Broncos. How do you see that one going?
Falcons.
Right. Are you impressed with them so far this year, or
well, I don't know if I would say impressed. However, what I will say is that I think the Broncos, Bo Nix has done, he played very well. Like I said, it could have gone either way. But I just wonder how that loss affects them at Arrowhead. I do feel that this could go either way. I've picked the Falcons. I think they'll have the upper hand against the Broncos.
Yeah, I picked the Falcons to beat the Saints last weekend. They were on a roll. They were flying. The Saints were at rock bottom, and they stunk. So I've gone for the Broncos this week because, I don't know, the Broncos have a good defense. Like, they held Mahomes and the Super Bowl champions to 16 points.
They got to Mahomes 4 times.
They did. And I think that they'll get to Kirk Cousins. Now, whether Bo Nix and Sutton and Co can move the ball forward and get the points, I don't know. Kirk Cousins has a lot more weapons. BJ Robinson is brilliant. Pitts is brilliant. Drake London is brilliant. And they have a lot more to aim at and go to. But I don't know. Anytime I pick them, they lose. And anytime I don't, they win. But I'm going to go for the Broncos this weekend, and we see how it goes.
Yeah.
The next one then is a divisional game. It's the Seahawks, who started off very well in the season and have crashed against the 49ers, who haven't really set the world alight yet.
No, that's a difficult one. Again, it could go either way. I think I picked. I'm trying to think back to the picks that I did. Did I go? I think I went 49ers on that one, actually.
49ers. Yeah, I went. I'm going the same. Christian McCaffrey back is brilliant.
Yeah, it's going to be. Yeah, that makes a difference.
It does
for me. Yeah.
What did you think of Deebo Samuel taking on Moody, the kicker, last weekend when he was missing his kicks? Was it the right place, the wrong place? Should he have done it?
I don't know. I don't know. It's difficult, isn't it? And as with any other call in any other game, you know, I don't think as a Chiefs fan I can probably comment on that one.
Well, there was a man that attacked your head coach last Super Bowl. Yeah. But the result came right. So
yes.
But look, at players have disagreements. I seen Stephon Diggs go at Josh Allen. I just think if the left is in the dressing room, nobody sees it, and they can either fix it in there or stay mad at each other in there or whatever. But it just puts it leaves room for when things go wrong for stories and things to come out.
And I think this is the thing, like as a Chiefs fan, everybody saw the world saw Travis Kelce at the Super Bowl. And this is what I mean. I think emotions and frustrations get out of control. Like you said about it being, a very kind of difficult game, a hard game. And I think emotions run high and it means so much to these guys. And I think their passion is very clear, but, there is a way to handle it and a way to not handle it.
I 100% agree. I will be honest. I'm a Travis Kelce fan, but his stock went down when he squared up to Andy Reid.
Yeah.
I have his jersey, and I am a fan of his, and it's nothing to do with Taylor Swift. He's a class tight end. He is going into the Hall of Fame in the future, but just on that particular moment, he did let himself down big time.
Yeah.
And he still is a super footballer, but sometimes you have to let emotions, pick your moment. And as you said, the world was watching that. It wasn't just a late night Sunday night game where America was watching it. The world was, and it looked savage bad on Andy Reid when you see the way he turned on him. Now, these things happen. That's part of sport, but. And I still do think he's a savage footballer, but that on that particular night he didn't cover himself in glory when the Chiefs covered themselves in glory.
Yeah, completely agree. But even this season, in the last couple of weeks, we've seen a couple of players ejected from games across the league. I think Puka Nacua was one, and I can't remember who the other one was. Was in the Packers game. Somebody.
There was someone ejected in the Packers game. It wasn't the Packers-Lions game, I think it was, Yeah,
and he was a Lions player, wasn't it? And there was lots of controversy about that because it came from New York. Because they didn't call it on the field and it came from New York in under review. I still can't remember who it was. But, there was lots of disagreement about that. I felt like ejecting was completely the right thing to do. I think it was the right call to make. You cannot behave like that. And that very easily could have been the call from New York on Travis Kelce. I think it is about professionalism and it's about keeping your emotions in check and it's about not being dangerous at the end of the day. So
yes, but maybe the way they're doing it this year came from what didn't happen at the Super Bowl last year. It could be just a thing where they have made their mind up now that if players do get either too emotional with their opposition, the referees, with their own coaches, that they're going to be disciplined, and it's probably a correct way. But again, no more than Deebo Samuel and Moody and those two Seahawk players a few weeks ago fighting when your man made the late tackle on Josh Allen, which I do believe was a game changer because they took us out of a scoring drive. We're going for a field goal and put us in that the next play he went and scored a touchdown. So, players do have to keep their emotions in check, and it's a hard game too, but that's part of it.
Yeah.
Now we come to the big one. The Chiefs and the Bills. I know you're picking this one.
Yes. Well, yes. I picked the Chiefs. I think that this is one that I've been worried about. I think if anybody is going to stop us, I think it's going to be the Bills. And I said about last week, we were playing a rookie quarterback who did phenomenally well, but Josh Allen and the Bills are not going to be as forgiving. And I think if there are mistakes made with our offense, with our defense, then that will be really taken advantage of. I think it will be a close game. I think it'll be an uncomfortable watch for everyone involved. I do think the Chiefs will continue to find a way to do it, though.
And very good. I have gone for the Bills, which is no surprise. Shocker. I know that I was just reading today, Amari Cooper, he did do some training. Keon Coleman hasn't done any training yet. Matt Milano, who is huge for us, is back into limited training as well. Dalton Kincaid was injured at the weekend. I don't know how he is right now. So yes, there's going to be a few missing in it and a few maybe not at 100%. But this is my theory, and I could be wrong, but I'm going to give you my theory anyway.
Okay.
My theory is they didn't risk Keon Coleman or Amari Cooper last weekend because of this weekend. And there was question marks going into last Sunday's game against the Colts. Were they going to play or not? And it was very, very late when they decided to say these two guys aren't playing. And I can understand it because the Colts did give us a game and it could have been a risky one, but we played crap compared to what we can do, and we still got a win. And both teams are going into this Sunday's game with playing poorly in the week before. And where the Chiefs have yet to kick on to 100%, and please God, let it not be Sunday, with their offense, they've got up to 80 and 90%. The Bills have found a way in games, especially in the second half of games, to punish teams. I was lucky enough to be at the Titans game, and the first quarter and a half, all I saw was London 2. We were awful. Could not throw a ball, could not run a ball. James Cook kept running straight down the middle, and he was met by a wall, and he was just put back in his backside. And as for throwing, anywhere we threw it, it wasn't happening. And then something clicked just before halftime. We got a touchdown, and they went in. And when they came out in the second half, it was like you replaced 11 players with 11 different guys, and they clicked. And Amari Cooper made an awful difference because he freed up Keon Coleman, and Keon Coleman was easily marked at the start of the year because, no disrespect to Curtis Samuel, he's a good footballer, or Matt Collins, they're good footballers, but they're not going to scare you. Where now you have Amari Cooper if he's fit, and Keon Coleman if he's fit, that can spread the Chiefs' defense. Now I know Steve Spagnuolo will have answers for this, and we'll have to answer his answers. Yeah. But I do believe it gives Josh Allen a different option. That last year you had Stephon Diggs, and we go back to the Chiefs game in the playoffs against the Bills, and the Chiefs won it fair and square, and I have no complaints. But 4 passes were thrown to 4 different players, and Gabe Davis was 1, and Stephon Diggs was 2. That there was no pressure put on them by Chiefs defenders. Mm-hmm. They should have caught the ball, and if they did, it would have been a different game. And we had a stronger, not saying we would have, a stronger possibility of winning, and all 4 were dropped. And that's not down to bad coaching. That's not down to bad throwing. That was down to players not doing what they were supposed to on a big game. I am delighted, as my follower knows, that Stephon Diggs has moved on, because I am him. If you're catching them balls, that's fine, you are him. But when you're not, and your atmosphere, please be gone. Whereas this year, we have Keon Coleman, Amari Cooper, 2 level-headed lads, they're at different stages in their career, but they're very, very down to earth. Cahill Shakir is my superstar in disguise because he is the one that 99.9% of the time will not drop a ball. The day against the Titans when we clicked, they threw the ball 5 times in a row to him, and he caught it every single time. Dawson Knox is starting to come back to himself, and if Dalton Kincaid can get fit, he'll help. James Cook, last weekend, he got angry runs, play of the week from Kyle Brandt, and and it was up through the middle, and he went through men, and it was great. And Ray Davis, when he goes out wide with his runs, it can hurt. These are options that we didn't have last year. And then you have Josh Allen, whereas on the Chiefs side, and this is only me guessing, if Pacheco isn't back, Kareem Hunt is very good, but he isn't Pacheco. Travis Kelce still hasn't clicked into 100% firing power yet of what he can do, and Worthy and DeAndre Hopkins, they can hurt you, but our secondary is playing very, very good this year. Our Damar Hamlin and our back line are playing super stuff. Now, that doesn't give us the right to go in and beat the Chiefs. That's just my way of putting it. And you have, in my eyes, the best 2 quarterbacks in football playing against each other on Sunday.
Yeah, 100%. And I love a Bills matchup. And it's funny, I think. So I asked on my X the other day, I asked Chiefs fans who their favourite non-Chiefs players were, and loads and loads of responses, loads of love for Josh Allen, and I think that this rivalry between Chiefs Kingdom and Bills Mafia, I feel like maybe is a little bit hyped up by others, because actually what I've seen is a lot of love and a lot of respect for both quarterbacks, for both teams, and certainly, it's always a brilliant matchup, and I can't wait. I'm really excited for it.
Yeah, like it is a lot of the media that they want to hype up that there's a hate between them or a dislike between them, but from a Bills point of view, we'd love to be where you are. You know what I mean? And challenging for Super Bowls and being able to cross that line, for once, and that's our aim. And I'm not talking about any of the other 30 teams in the NFL. I'm a Bills fan and you're a Chiefs fan. You're the number 1 team. The only way we're going to become number 1 is by beating you.
Yeah.
And this Sunday's game is important, but it's the one in January or February. That's the one that that matters. But if you can get any kind of a leg up by winning this game, by putting some doubt in their mind, then you have to go for it and you have to take a chance. Again, I don't see there being a big score difference in it. I think it'll be very tight. I think that it'll come down to who is the ball last. It'll be that tight of a game. And if it's the thing that we are driving, like, I will be honest, I was very critical of Tyler Bass' kick last year against yourselves. That's not to say that the game we would have won the game, because he still had 2 minutes to come down the field with Mahomes, so anything could have happened. But this year, the man was under pressure. They brought in kickers to put pressure on him. And in his last 2 games, he kicked a monster kick against the Dolphins to get the win, and he was 100% perfect against the Colts last weekend. So these are things that, you can see improvements from last year, as small as they are, but they're important. Now, Sunday's game is going to be the tester, and it's nicely set up for us at 9:25 on a Sunday night. We'll be able to watch it, not too late. We don't have to stay up all night. And
I could still do without overtime, though. That would be Chiefs Bills. If you're listening, no.
Well, I think we all could, but it should be a cracker. Like it's won't in the US's eyes. It's not the big game because they have the Ravens ahead of us. They have the Steelers ahead of us. They have the Texans ahead of us, and so on. And so be it. I don't care, because so far they have overlooked the Bills all the way through the season, and that's grand. And long may they keep at it. But in my eyes, I think it's 2 of the best teams in the AFC playing each other.
Yeah.
I think the Chiefs are number one, and until someone knocks the Chiefs off number one, you have to respect them that they are number one. And if we beat the Chiefs on Sunday, that doesn't make us number one, but it gives us a chance come the playoffs to say, right, well, we went. You came to our place last year, you beat us. You came to our place this year, we've got our revenge. Now we have to kick on, and then that's for another day's talk, and we have to get there and all that. But Sunday's game is just about setting a tone and finding any more weaknesses you can use again for the future against each other, and building your strengths that you've found, in the regular season to bring them to the playoffs. Say certain plays worked well, good, and if certain plays didn't, then we leave them off for the next day and try something else. But we're one of each there. It's the Bills and the Chiefs. We're not too bad. We've only 4 differences so far, and there's only two games left. So the last 2 games, because we're flying through it, is the Bengals at the Chargers. Who are you going there?
I'm going to go Bengals with this one. Like you said about Joe Burrow, hopefully the coaching has and the training have equipped his receivers to deal better with him. I think they deserve to have a bit more success this season. It certainly seems it's always in the past seemed to be Chiefs, Bills, Bengals. And now it seems like it's Chief Bills, and the Bengals are kind of flagging a little bit. So I would like to see a Bengals win, because we like that rivalry. We like it keeps pushing us forwards and making that competition. So, yeah, that's who I've gone with.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you. Even though the Chargers are doing well, I'm going with the Bengals, because if Joe Burrow had any kind of a defense, they'd be sitting up in the top, which like the Bills and the Chiefs, with a 8-2 or 7-3 or 9-1 or whatever, because he has been outstanding this year. And like for me, I look at who's in line for MVP. Now, MVP isn't everything, because I have my little disagreement with last year's one, but this year Lamar Jackson has been outstanding.
Yeah.
Jared Goff, and there's been a few of the Lions have been outstanding. But if Joe Burrow had results, he would be up there too. Mm-hmm. Like I think he threw 5 and 4 touchdown passes in his last 2 games, and like one was against the Ravens. You don't throw 4 touchdowns against the Ravens very many times, and he did, and unfortunately he still lost. So respect for Joe Burrow. I think the Bengals, if he can click and play like he has. Jamar Chase is playing great. He caught 3 touchdowns last weekend. So if he can do that again, I think the Chargers are solid. Jim Harbaugh has them playing nice football, tough football. But if Joe Burrow can stretch them, I think that the Bengals should get the win. And then our last game is the Monday Night Football, is the Texans against the Cowboys. So I think we're going to be going for the same team, but
yeah, I think the Cowboys' season is over. I don't think there'll be any success there now. Dak is out anyhow, which is probably quite good for him given their record this season. So yeah, not the Cowboys.
No, like the Cowboys, I'm not picking. Sorry, no. I'm not picking them. Camera's gone a bit wonky for a second. I'll kick in. I have chosen the Texans in this because the Cowboys are, as you said, the season is over. Mm-hmm. But my question to you, Shelley, is this: who do you blame for the Cowboys being where they are?
Everyone. I think everyone needs to share in the blame a little bit. I think it's not one person or one group's fault. I think, there are lots of problems in that organization. I think obviously injury hasn't helped. I think it's just been a bit of a shambles, to be fair.
Yes, but I have looked at it, and I think a lot of the shambles comes down to where it starts at the beginning. Mm-hmm. So the top man is Jerry Jones.
Yeah,
Jerry Jones dictates to everything that happens in that organization. You look at the Chiefs. their boss person does not come near Andy Reid. He lets Andy Reid does his job, and he trusts Andy Reid and the general manager to do their jobs. The Pagulas at the Bills, they leave Brandon Beane and Sean McDermott alone. You never hear from them. They let them do their job, and for the last 7 years, they've been very successful in their job. Whereas Jerry Jones, like, I don't know how good of a coach as Mike McCarthy is. He won a Super Bowl, so he can't be bad. Dak Prescott is a good quarterback, but there's too much, I don't know, there's too much buddy with these guys and being involved with these guys. And like, it's very hard for McCarthy to make a change or something or do something different if Jerry Jones is their best friends and they're hanging out and, you know, he's involved with it and you're going against the man who's paying your wages.
Yeah.
So I just think if the Cowboys are ever going to come back and challenge for a Super Bowl and not just win their division, but challenge, like this year now, they've had 2 teams that has challenged them, which is the Eagles and the Commanders, and they fell away. Like having Micah Parsons come on a podcast or an interview and blame Mike McCarthy for the problems and, you know, question his head coaching thing, like that shouldn't happen.
No.
You can question him in the dressing room and he can answer you, but not out and, you know, not air your laundry.
No.
But anyway, I just think that's my 2 cents on it, is that if Jerry Jones is the owner, let him be the owner, and then let him have a head coach and a general manager that can run the organization and let them do it and help them when they want help. And then when they don't want help, if it's not working, move them on and get someone else.
Yeah, I agree.
So that is our look through the games for tonight, Shelley, for the weekend. Thank you very much. Who are your favourite players in the Chiefs, past and present?
So obviously Mahomes, you know, 100%. It's got to be. I don't think, you know, I think even age-old Chiefs fans, everybody loves Mahomes. I think that Kareem Hunt has come back and made a huge difference for the Chiefs. I think he's electric to watch, and I think he's very reliable. Pacheco, I've really missed him this season. Can't wait to get him back. I miss kind of one of our past players who, Carlin Saunders. I feel like he was a real difference on our defense. And you know, I feel like he is successful, you know, anyway, but maybe a little bit more electric with the Chiefs. So yeah, really miss him. I think we've got just a really brilliant group of guys, really likable players. There's obviously a lot of fun that goes on. They're all very close. And so it's difficult to kind of narrow it down. My top is Mahomes. You know, I find him very stressful to watch as well. And something, you know, there are times when it's 3 a.m. I'm going, Mahomes, what are you doing? But you know, it's all good, and the love that he has for the Chiefs and for Kansas City, you know, just really sets him apart from it for me.
No, that's class. Like, it's the same for me and Josh Allen. He is my favorite. He's the reason when I was looking for a team to go to after the Browns, was I seen him play against the Chiefs, the 13-second game. And
yeah,
that was a cracker. But it was watching him on the sideline, and it was videos you've seen afterwards of it, and the way he was, you know, every time they got back, the Chiefs went ahead, they came back again, and he kept driving. At some stage, you were waiting for the break, you know, to come, but it never happened until it went to overtime. But he kept driving his team, and from learning about him, reading about him, and now getting to know him since I became a Bills fan, he is a guy that's like Mahomes, is fully invested in Buffalo, fully invested in everything there, and he like Mahomes, he does his leading on the pitch, and that's the guy you follow. That's why you follow him. You know, they're the reasons. It's not about being flash or having money or being rich or big-headed or anything like that. Because if he was these, I wouldn't be interested. But he's like, the two of them are similar. They're brilliant at what they do. They lead at what they do. They're both leaders. They're both driven. They want to win, and they bring the best out of each other when they play each other. And you can't ask for any more. So that is our video for tonight, Shelley. So thank you very much for coming on. We've passed the hour, which is it shows how good the conversation was.
Thank you for having me. Always a pleasure.
And if we get a chance in the playoffs again, please God, we'll have another one. So we will. Thank you very much, Shelley, for coming on. You can find Shelley on X at Arrows and Cheese. She's a wonderful person. She's always there to help you any way she can, and her support for the Chiefs and NFL is second to none. So fair play, and thank you very much, Shelley, for coming on.
Thank you.
So that's our show for tonight, folks. Thank you very much for watching. I'll be back again now next Tuesday night with a review of Week 11, and please God, we'll say this quietly, that the Bills win, and we'll say no more. But until then, thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much, Shelley, for coming on. Please all stay safe, stay happy, stay together. And as always, from this side, go Bills. And from Shelley's side,
go Chiefs.
Thank you.